Explosive Child by Ross Green. And this is a really nice book in how to talk to your children about difficult situations when you have a difference of opinions. It's actually, as you can tell from the title, written for parents who have kids with behavior problems, but it teaches you how to ask questions and talk to kids in a way that honors their perspective, honors what it is that they want to do, honors the fact that they have different goals than you, and sets up some ways in which you can kind of come to compromise and figure out how to make how to come to solutions that are mutually beneficial. Another thing that parents talk about was sort of the how do you, and kids actually talk about this too, because the GPS, the phone GPS came up with the kids. How do you monitor your kids and not be overbearing at the same time? And this is an incredibly difficult thing. I can tell you all the developmental research shows that kids turn out better when parents are monitoring them. Sorry, but it's true. If you know where your kid is, and especially if you have parent networks. One parent talked about calling other parents at 1 o'clock in the morning, waking them up, and I thought to myself, oh my God, if my phone rang at 1 o'clock in the morning, I think I'd just have a heart attack. But and some parents don't like it. They're why are you calling me? I don't want to talk to you. But many of the parents are going to like it. You can start to form networks with the parents, even that you don't know, that it's okay. Because if you call them, you know what they're likely to do next time if they're not the kind of parent that's in denial that there might be any problem at all, is that they're going to call you. And so if you're checking in on your kid, you don't have to be overbearing about it. You don't have to call them every 10 minutes. But if you know where your kid is and you have a network of parents and you guys are all kind of watching out together, so that takes a village kind of idea, that's a very effective way of monitoring your kids so that they're safer and have more options. Another mother said, you know,